My girlfriend posted on her alt account, "Must a princess marry a prince? Perhaps her true destiny lies with the night." I don't mind you wanting to be a princess, but what kind of princess sneaks off at night to send flirty messages to the knight behind the princess' back? One when she was on a business trip to she and she sent me a message and immediately deleted it. I deliberately waited a few minutes before asking was she withdrawn. She said it was an accidental tap. Actually, I saw it. She said, "I don't know if it's right to meet him, but let us just consider it making up for past regrets." My heart sank immediately. I tried to video call her, but she declined. She said she was having dinner with colleagues, and it wasn't tea convenient. I told her I wanted to see what she was eating. She sent me a few photos of the dishes the restaurant's name was on the tableware. So I looked it up. It was a trendy hotspot. I gripped my phone and thought for a moment, then opened a delivery app to place an order, setting the location right at this restaurant. I added the delivery guy on WeChat and told him I needed to find someone inside this restaurant. Could he secretly take a photo or record video? Then I directly transfer him 200 yuan, seeing how straightforward I was. The delivery guy agreed. I briefly described my girlfriend as features to him, and then it was just a waiting game. Those few minutes were agonizing. Part of me hoped he'd find her, and part of me hoped he wouldn't. After 3 or 4 minutes, he sent me a photo and asked if it was this person. Even though I was mentally prepared, my entire body turned cold the moment I saw it. She was having a meal alone with a man. There was no sign of the female co-worker she had mentioned earlier. Then he sent me more photos, one after another. Though the images were slightly blurry, I still recognized who the man was. Her high school classmate. 2 months ago, she attended a class reunion and posted a group photo on her social media, which included this guy. I remembered it because I saw her best friend comment, "ISN, T the guy next to you, the school heartthrob XXX from your class, still so handsome." My girlfriend replied with a giggling emoji covering her mouth. Her best friend added, "But you've also become more beautiful. He must regret it now, right?" I asked her about it at the time, and she said this male classmate had pursued her back in school, but she didn't agree to it. Then she added that he was about to get married soon and told me to stop overthinking things. A dozen or so photos showed the two of them in poses that were clearly inappropriate. My emotions were tangled, and I sat alone smoking half a pack of cigarettes. That evening I called her again, but no one answered. Around 10 p.m., she video called me from the hotel lobby instead of her room. She said she'd been watching a performance at the Great Tang All Day Mall and hadn't heard her phone now. She was exhausted and wanted to sleep. After a few hurried words, she hung up, claiming she needed to catch the elevator. That night, unable to sleep, I scoured her WeChat moments and Weibo posts, searching for any telltale clues. Sure enough, I discovered she'd liked a suspicious Weibo post, a close-up photo of a cocktail glass. The timing coincidentally matched the day of her class reunion, April 20th. This Weibo account had posted a few mundane updates, nothing particularly noteworthy, but there was a female account that was always active in his comments section. Following this lead, I did a quick search and immediately confirmed it was my girlfriend's alternate account. Because on April 20th, this account posted a Weibo update with the exact same caption she had used in her WeChat moments that day. "Do you still remember the dreams of our youth, like a flower that never withers?" What made my blood boil the most was that this account posted a Weibo last night. "Turn off the ceiling light, and I can be bold or leave a small lamp on, so you can see me more clearly. You belong only to me, and I belong only to you." It's hard to describe the emotions and feelings I had when I read these words. During this period, she acted completely normal in front of me, even discussing marriage plans with me, how much dowry to give, which hotel to book, which brand of wedding dress to buy, where to go for our honeymoon. Not a single damn clue was revealed. I didn't sleep all night, and the next day, I asked a friend to help me investigate this guy. I remember my girlfriend saying this guy was about to get married soon. I had to verify this information. The next day, my girlfriend's business trip should have ended. She texted me saying she'd still be quite busy today and wouldn't have time to reply my messages. By noon, I saw her secondary Weibo account had updated. It was a landscape photo geotagged at Xian's Tang Paradise. Just then, my friend's message came through. My friend came through big time. Within half a day, he dug up everything there was to know about this guy. The guy worked at a well-known insurance company as an agent. His fiancée was a children's English training instructor at an educational center. She was a local who still lived at home, so the two of them weren't cohabiting. I got the man's phone number and WeChat through a friend's help. Well, turns out they're about to get married. How lovely, both of them cheating at the same time. At that point, I thought this was just some cliché soap opera-worthy story of old flames rekindling at a class reunion. No doubt the guy is a scumbag, but one thing I was sure about was whether he knew my girlfriend wasn't single. I decided to take the initiative, for I created a fake account to add this guy with a note saying introduced by a friend inquiring about insurance. The friend request was quickly accepted. He proactively sent a hello. I pretended to be interested and said I was from a family of four looking to buy insurance for everyone, asking if they had any good product recommendations at the moment. The guy was extremely enthusiastic, explaining that family insurance should be tailored based on family structure and my budget. He sent me a document to review first, saying it contained their company as flagship products and successful case studies of past client customizations. Then, somewhat apologetically, he mentioned he was about to board a flight and would contact me again after landing. I checked the man's social media feed, which was mostly work-related content, far less interesting than his Weibo posts. 2 hours later, the man messaged me, "Bro, I've landed. Feel free to share your needs and budget with me." I didn't reply to him immediately, instead turning to message my girlfriend to ask what time her flight was arriving. She never told me the flight details, claiming the project completion time was uncertain, but only now do I realize she was afraid I'd come pick her up. My girlfriend didn't reply. Little does she know I've been at the airport for hours, hidden among the crowd of greeters. I keep my eyes locked on the arrival's exit. 5, I saw her come out wearing sunglasses, laughing and chatting while holding onto a tall man's arm. After they left, they got into a taxi. My car was still in the underground parking lot, so I couldn't follow. By the time I got back, my girlfriend was already home. She showed no signs of anything unusual when she saw me. She enthusiastically rushed over to hug me, saying she hadn't told me her flight details because she wanted to surprise me. Then she pulled out 2 bags of crumbled flatbread from her suitcase, claiming she specially bought them for me despite her busy schedule. If this wasn't bought at the airport souvenir shop, I'll twist my head off and use it as a stool. Over the next few days, I remained calm in front of my girlfriend. While she was showering, I secretly checked her chat history with that man. Only 2 words can describe it: filthy lewd. I never knew my girlfriend could be so wild. A proper lady in public, but a slut in bed. That her to a T. What's even more infuriating is that it wasn't in my bed, but someone else's. I contacted the guy on WeChat, saying my budget was ample and that I wanted him to fully equip me with critical illness insurance, medical insurance, life insurance, accident insurance, whatever he could offer. I asked him to carefully prepare several plans for me to compare in detail. I even mentioned that if I was satisfied, I'd recommend more friends to buy from him. To showcase my substantial financial strength, I accidentally posted photos of my buddy's luxury car and villa with a swimming pool on my moments for him to see. I didn't post my own to avoid exposing myself. The guy became even more enthusiastic, calling me bro left and right. Every morning he'd punctually send me WeChat messages saying good morning, either reminding me to layer up because temperatures dropped or warning me about storm alerts and telling me to bring an umbrella. Damn it, sometimes I'd wake up groggily thinking it was my mom messaging me. Occasionally I'd reply with a thanks. A few more days passed like this until I saw my girlfriend as all account update. You say it's because our love runs deep, but fate is shallow. I say it's because you weren't brave enough for love. This exact sentence made me furious. If he wasn't brave enough for love, fine, I'll step in. After all this time talking to this guy, the groundwork has been laid well enough. 6 one night, when my girlfriend came back late from a company dinner this time, it was genuine. She proactively video called me to show me. I contacted a guy on WeChat. He had asked for my phone number before, but I never gave it to him. We only ever communicated via WeChat. I casually asked him about investment type insurance, whether it was worth buying, and he sent me a long spiel analyzing the pros and cons. I didn't read a single word of it. After waiting about 10 minutes, I sent him another message. I said, even though I'm married, I still can't let you go, especially after meeting you this time. It feels like our old feelings have been reawakened, but maybe it's just because my life is too dull now and the novelty is playing tricks on me. I don't want to betray my wife either. The guy replied with a question mark, so I immediately recalled the message and sent him a voice note instead. I said, sorry man, I sent that to the wrong person. He said it was fine and that he hadn't read it carefully. I called him directly and asked if he was free to grab some barbecue, saying I was feeling upset and needed someone to talk to. He eagerly agreed, replying, no problem, bro. The reason I dared to meet him was that based on their chat history, this guy genuinely didn't know my girlfriend was in a relationship. She had told him she broke up with her short-term boyfriend after this year's spring festival. Every day she ate my food, lived in my place, spent my money on beauty treatments, drove my car to party with her girlfriends, yet pretended to be single in front of her old flame. Pretty impressive. When I drove to pick him up, the first thing he said upon getting in the car was, bro, never seen you post this car on your social media. I just smiled without responding. That's exactly the vibe we're going for, acting indifferent toward material possessions. He kept talking to himself. This is how you rich folks roll. Switching between multiple cars must be nice. Probably my reaching out to him made him feel somewhat flattered during the car ride. He was the one mostly initiating conversations, while I just casually responded with a few words. 7, while drinking, I deliberately pretended to be depressed and explained to him that the message I had just sent him was actually meant for my ex-girlfriend. Then I asked him, bro, what do you think I should do? I really can't let go. He chuckled and said, bro, I get you, it's normal for a man, but you've got a family and kids now. You definitely shouldn't let your wife find out. I asked him, bro, tell me the truth. What would you do if you were in my shoes? He had downed 5 or 6 bottles by then, and the alcohol must have loosened him up because he finally came clean. He said, bro, don't even get me started. I've been through something just like what you're dealing with. And then his words poured out like floodwaters through an open sluice gate. He spilled everything. He said he was engaged, but at the class reunion, he ran into the class beauty from their school days. She had become even more stunning, practically a goddess now, and he just couldn't resist. After the reunion, the two of them went to a nearby hotel. Hearing this made me feel fucking disgusted, but I didn't show any emotion on my face and encouraged him to keep talking. He felt a bit guilty toward his fiancée, but the class beauty wasn't having it. She kept asking him out. In the end, he had no choice but to lie to his fiancée about a business trip and went on a 2-day getaway with the class beauty. Now she is completely infatuated, constantly pressuring him to break up with his fiancée, but he is not really keen on the idea. I said, then why don't you seriously consider it and just get together with the class beauty? He said, bro, the thrill of novelty is indeed tempting, but I think it's like this plate of peanuts, great as a snack with drinks, but ultimately it can't replace a bowl of rice. Damn, gotta admit the bastard made some sense. But your mistake was you were eating peanuts from someone else's bowl. 8. Then he went on saying his fiancée was an only child with parents who were a doctor and a teacher respectively. They have pensions when they retired and could help take care of their grandkids. Plus the couple had already bought their daughter an apartment before the wedding, so they could just move in after getting married without worrying about mortgage. Hearing this, I felt even more contempt for the man. So he didn't want to break up, not because of his fiancée herself, but because he couldn't bear to let go of her advantages. I poured him another drink and said, damn, you're something else, just one class reunion, and she has been pining for you ever since. The man chuckled, then suddenly leaned in closer with a mysterious expression. Bro, let me tell you something else. I stared at him, sensing it wasn't going to be anything good. He said that when he returned to his hometown for the new year this year, the class beauty actually took the initiative to contact him at that time. She still had a boyfriend and hadn't broken up yet. The two of them spent 2 days together at a resort. I frowned, remembering that during this year's spring festival, there were indeed 2 days when I couldn't reach my girlfriend. Every day, she would only reply to one of my WeChat messages in the evening, saying she was too busy entertaining relatives to even look at her phone. So that's what was really going on. Looking back now, I was such an idiot. It's 2023, even Pinduoduo can't attract new users anymore, yet I actually believed her when she said she hadn't looked at her phone for 2 days. I used drinking to mask my murderous gaze, steadied my emotions, and calmly said, bro, that's not cool. He said it wasn't his fault that the other party was just too forward though. They had some ambiguous history back in high school. This was just the making up for past regrets. He thought things would end after that New Year's encounter, but then they met again at the class reunion, and the class beauty threw herself at him. What could he do? Make up for regrets, my ass. Make up for regrets, my foot. We ate and drank for hours as we talked, and this guy told me everything about his relationship with his girlfriend, how many times they'd gone out, how many times they'd slept together. In return, I made up some lies of my own, playing along to make him feel like we were kindred spirits. He even almost wanted to swear brotherhood with me. Yeah, right, who the hell do you think you are? I thought he was just some clueless cheating scumbag, but turns out he'd been screwing me over all along. Could I take this lying down? That very night, I went online and ordered a set of lingerie, shipping it straight to his fiancée's house. I used that scumbag's name for the order, aiming to create the illusion that he accidentally sent it to the wrong address. If you want to nibble peanuts while clinging to your bowl of rice, I'll flip the damn table for you. I made a decision to help my girlfriend reunite with her white moonlight, rekindling their old flame. Since that night, the scumbag started telling me everything without reservation. He came to vent to me, saying his fiancée had been acting strange lately, as if she discovered something. She suddenly started checking his phone and computer, and her words were always laced with sarcasm and insinuations. Luckily, he had erased all traces. Then he admitted he was starting to panic a little, and maybe he really should draw a clear line with the class beauty. He had indeed been a bit too obsessed with her recently. I turned to look at my girlfriend playing with her phone on the sofa and gave him sincere advice. Why don't you arrange a proper talk with her? Otherwise, I don't think she'll give up easily. What if she impulsively goes to your fiancé and makes a scene someday? He replied, you're right, bro. I'll make plans with her in a few days. Damn, you really don't hold back in front of me, do you? With my girlfriend, I started picking fights on purpose every day. Even if she cried, I absolutely wouldn't comfort her. If she made a scene, I'd slam the door and leave. After a week of this, one day, she coldly told me she was going out with her girlfriends that evening and might not come back since we just end up fighting anyway if she did. I said, go ahead, have fun. After she left, I texted her best friend saying I was planning a marriage proposal and wanted her help brainstorming ideas. Well, you think her best friend might leak it to her beforehand. Whatever, it's not like I'm actually dumb enough to really propose. Her best friend immediately got excited, and I said, how about you come out tonight? I've also called a few buddies, and we can all discuss it together. Her best friend agreed without hesitation and set time with me. Half an hour later, her best friend suddenly called me again, laughing and saying she hadn't slept well last night and her mind was still foggy. She already had plans with my girlfriend today, Could we reschedule? I chuckled, but didn't T call her out, just saying sure, no rush. By the afternoon, I was already waiting outside my girlfriend's office. To catch her after work, I needed to know where her so-called white moonlight planned to take her today. 11 at 5:30 when my girlfriend came out, she got into a taxi. I secretly followed and ended up at a Western restaurant. After she went in, I waited a few minutes before entering, afraid of being spotted. I wore a hat and a mask. The restaurant had a nice atmosphere with cozy booths and a quiet ambience. I told the waiter I had a reservation and asked if a tall, slim, fair-skinned pretty girl had arrived. First, the waiter pointed me in a direction and offered to take me there, but I said no, I wanted to use the restroom first. I followed the direction the waiter pointed and walked to the other side, finding a relatively hidden spot to observe. Sure enough, I spotted the two of them. My girlfriend was exceptionally happy, laughing the entire time and occasionally getting handsy with that scumbag. I secretly took quite a few photos. I initially planned to call the scumbag as fiancé and send her the photos along with the restaurant's address. His fiancé had already been suspicious lately, but couldn't he find any solid evidence. This was truly like handing a pillow to someone who was dozing off. But then I suddenly remembered what that scumbag said about a breakup. Fuck. Right now, these two are just having a meal. Even if I sent the address, the scumbag as fiancé might not come. And if she did come, he might just smooth talk his way out of it worse. Yet she might call him directly and tip him off. So I decided to wait a little longer. To my own horror, I found myself perversely hoping they'd finish their meal and hurry off to a hotel room. I waited in the car for nearly an hour before the two of them finally emerged. I suspected that scumbag hadn't gotten to the main topic during dinner, otherwise my girlfriend wouldn't have been beaming with joy as they held hands and headed straight for the nearby Hampton Hotel. 12. I quickly followed behind, secretly recording a video of them entering the hotel. The lobby was too small, so I couldn't discreetly follow them inside. I started calling the scumbag as fiancé. I told her your fiancé is checking into a hotel with another woman. At first, she didn't believe me, so I said we could add each other on WeChat. I had proof. Then I used my alternate account to add his fiancé and sent her the video. She immediately called back, frantically asking who the woman in the photos was and who I was. I didn't say anything, just sent her the Hampton Hotel address and urged her to come quickly or the person would leave. About half an hour later, his fiancé arrived, bringing along a female companion and a burly man. The three of them stormed in aggressively and immediately started arguing with the front desk. Even without listening, it was obvious they were demanding to know which room the scumbag was in. The front desk refused, and the two sides began quarreling. I called my girlfriend, and as expected, she didn't answer then. I tried calling her best friend, no answer, either probably guilty conscience. Next, I texted both of them, saying I realized I'd been too harsh lately, and that I was already on my way to her best friend's place by car to pick her up. The playing dead best friend was the first to call back. She said over the phone that my girlfriend was still angry and told me not to come. I insisted firmly, saying that made me even more determined to come over. I absolutely had to bring her home today, otherwise I wouldn't be able to sleep tonight. Her best friend's tone immediately became slightly unnatural as she said, "Don't rush, let me ask her again, okay?" I said fine, but if she still refused to talk to me, I'd go apologize at their doorstep. After hanging up, I began waiting with calm composure. 13. About 20 minutes later, the elevator in the hotel lobby opened, and my girlfriend came out with that scumbag. They ran right into the trio who were arguing with the front desk. Everyone froze for a moment, and the scumbag's fiancé was furious. Without a word, she stepped forward and slapped my girlfriend several times. She looked quiet and reserved, but when it came to fighting, she didn't hold back at all. After slapping her, she still wasn't satisfied and started kicking, calling her a slut who seduced men. The girlfriend cried out in pain, dodging behind the scumbag while shouting, "Are you insane? How dare you hit me? I'll call the police. Just you wait." Hearing this, the scumbag's fiancé grew even angrier. She signaled the burly man to restrain the scumbag, who was trying to protect his girlfriend, then joined her female companion in beating the girlfriend until she crouched on the ground, covering her head helplessly. "You filthy slut, still playing innocent with me. You've already slept together in a hotel, and now you're saying I'm slandering you." Then came the girl's unexpected move, one I never saw coming. She pulled out a set of lingerie from her bag and tried to put it over her girlfriend's head, the very same one I had sent her. "Come on, with so many people here today, let us all see how shameless you are. This was bought for you, right? Put it on now and show everyone." The commotion was too loud. The bystanders, never once to miss a spectacle, all had their phones out recording. I was recording too. The receptionist and security came over to intervene, warning that they'd call the police if this continued. The burly man pointed at them and declared with full vigor, "Call the police. I'm reporting this place for organizing prostitution. Right now, this woman is clearly a prostitute, and if you keep interfering, you're aiding and abetting criminal activity." His intimidating presence froze the receptionist and security guards in their tracks. The scumbag was utterly spineless, just weakly pleading stop hitting her, while his fiancée shouted, "I'll beat this bitch to death first, then deal with you." Chaos, absolute chaos. Satisfying, so goddamn satisfying. 14, I really wanted to keep watching, but I had more important things to prepare for, so I'll take off first. An hour later, my girlfriend, as best friend, finally called me back, saying my girlfriend had drunk a bit too much and had already fallen asleep at their friend's place, but she would stay with her and told me not to worry. I said, okay, I'm not worried. Early the next morning, I called my girlfriend. Her tone was very subdued on the phone, and she said she'd come back that evening. Good, you're back. I was afraid you wouldn't come home. At 9 p.m., the fingerprint lock beeped as my girlfriend opened the door, looking exhausted, her face slightly swollen upon closer inspection. She froze the moment she stepped inside. I had transformed the entire living room into a dreamlike scene, white and pink balloons floating near the ceiling, a path lined with red candles on the floor, scattered with rose petals. At the center stood a massive heart-shaped rose arrangement, with a lit sign in the middle that read, "Marry Me." And her parents were there too. It's just a 2-hour drive from her home to the city, so I specially invited her parents over. Besides her best friend, I also invited many other classmates. The room was packed with people. Photos of us were playing on a loop on the TV. The whole atmosphere was all about romance and emotion. I stood facing her, thrusting a bouquet into her hands, and with utmost sincerity said that I hadn't been treating her well lately. I reflected on my shortcomings and decided to redouble my efforts to cherish her. I thanked her for all the days she stood by me and expressed my belief that our future together would be even sweeter. I'll give you all the security and stability you desire. I promise today, before your family and friends, I vow to buy an apartment and a car before our wedding, both in your name, to give you complete peace of mind. My girlfriend couldn't hold back, then covering her mouth as tears streamed down her face. After being brutally humiliated and berated by someone else last night, she returned to find such warmth here today, and to top it off, this fool of a man was offering cars and property. Even Pangelian herself would been moved in this situation. Her parents' eyes lit up upon hearing my words, urging her to respond immediately. The others watched enviously, gasping and egging her on, say yes, say yes. She was so excited she could die, just about to speak when the phone in my pocket rang. Actually, the ringtone was something I preset. I just unmuted it at the perfect moment. I pretended to check my phone, my face darkening with each second. Everyone in the room exchanged confused glances, clueless about what was happening. I gave her a long, meaningful look before walking up to her parents, Uncle Annie. I said the proposal might need to be put on hold. Her parents immediately panicked, urgently asking me what was wrong. I didn't answer, just cast my phone screen to the TV and said, "See for yourselves." 15. The photos showed my girlfriend having dinner with that scumbag, both grinning from ear to ear. Tears still streaked my girlfriend's face when she saw the photos. She froze, then blurted out, "Who took these?" "I don't know." I said they were sent from an unknown number, but judging by the timestamps, these were taken during your business trip to Shein. Don't you think you owe me an explanation? The photo watermark shows it's from Xiaomi phone. While I use an iPhone, no way she suspect it came from me. The sudden shift in mood made her expression slightly unnatural, but she still defended herself righteously, saying she just ran into an old classmate during a business trip and had a meal together. That is all no big deal. Knew she'd say that. I quietly switched to the next photo. The second photo shows my girlfriend feeding the scumbag with her own spoon. The atmosphere became awkward instantly. Her parents, her classmates, no one spoke, all turned to look at her. Her eyes darted around, clearly panicking now. I felt like there should been a voiceover right then, first blood. But she still insisted, saying it was absolutely not what I thought, that she was afraid the dish might be too spicy and had asked her classmate to taste it first. I was eerily calm at that moment, feeling a twisted thrill like a cat toying with a mouse. It's fine, keep making excuses. I won't get angry. We're just getting started. The scene shifted. The third photo showed the two of them walking out of the airport hand in hand. Her mother couldn't hold back anymore and asked my girlfriend who this guy really was. My girlfriend started stammering, saying he was just an old classmate, but her tone clearly lacked conviction. Double kill. 16. Her mother gave her a hard slap on the back, telling her to explain quickly so I wouldn't misunderstand. She said they just happened to be on the same flight and that she accidentally twisted her ankle after landing that day. So he helped her, just like helping an elderly person cross the street. She insisted there was absolutely nothing inappropriate between them. Don't be ridiculous, since when good Samaritans hold hands interlocked with grannies, they're helping cross the street. I remained silent throughout, no interrogations, no outbursts. After all, such a clumsy excuse couldn't possibly fool anyone present. We all heard how absurd it sounded. Triple kill. There's more. Then came a video that left the entire room gasping. My girlfriend glanced over and nearly lost her balance. The two of them entered the hotel together. Exactly what I captured yesterday. Quadra kill. I calmly asked her, "Did you just happen to run into him again?" Finally, I played the most dramatic scene from last night as confrontation. My girlfriend getting beaten and cursed at by the scumbag as fiancé ending with her underwear being pulled over her head in utter humiliation. One of her classmates couldn't hold back and blurted out, "Holy shit." Her parents couldn't even bear to look anymore. I sighed and sat on the sofa, burying my head in my hands. Otherwise, I was afraid I wouldn't be able to hold back my laughter. Pentakill. 17, her mother said in a trembling voice, insisting there must be some misunderstanding and asking me to talk it out privately with her daughter. By then, her classmates all suddenly remembered they had other places to be and left one after another. After everyone had left, her father suddenly rushed forward and slapped her. Humiliated and furious, she burst into tears. Then her father said, "Xiao Louis," her mother, and I may have spoiled her a bit, but deep down she's not a bad person. You know that the two of you are already talking about marriage. I think any issue can be discussed properly. Don't be so quick to give up on each other. I rubbed my temples, feigning exhaustion. I said, "Uncle, I was really happy to have you all here as witnesses today, but as you can see, someone sent me these things to show me the truth. My mind is in chaos right now, and I need some time alone to think. Maybe you should take her back with you today, and we'll talk after we've both calmed down." Then, without even looking at my girlfriend, I went into the bedroom. I don't know when her parents left, but she tried to talk to me, and I didn't open the door. That night, she sent me a flood of long messages like someone with a split personality in the first half of the night. She apologized, sincerely promised to obey me without complaint from that moment on, and swore to treat me with all her heart. But by the second half of the night, she suddenly started accusing and interrogating me, ranting about how I never understood what she really wanted except for being willing to spend money on her. "Thank you so much for remembering that all our expenses since we got together were covered by me." She left early the next morning, and by noon her best friend told me my girlfriend was moving in with her. Her parents later called me, saying they severely reprimanded their daughter and begged me to forgive her this, once promising she'd never make such a mistake again. I ignored them all. Meanwhile, I checked my girlfriend's secret Twitter account. She'd posted an update. "Must a princess marry a prince? Perhaps her true destiny lies with the night." I don't object to you wanting to be a princess. The real question is what kind of princess sneaks around at night, sending flirty messages to the night behind the princess back. 18, I want to chat with that scumbag, and heard some great news. Things went much smoother than I expected. The scumbag broke up with her. Good riddance. The sooner they split, the sooner you two can rekindle your old flame. I was still worried his fiancée might be reluctant to break things off. I pretended to show concern, then egged him on to go after the class beauty. I said, "You lucky dog, having such a gorgeous woman pining for you. If it were me, I'd be moved to tears by now." I said, "Even peanuts have their merits. Peanuts can be pressed for oil, and you need oil for cooking every day, right?" I said, "My regrets can't be undone, but you still have a chance. Don't miss it." That scumbag must be been severely lectured by his fiancée and was already feeling rebellious hearing my words. He kept nodding in agreement. I said, "I wish you both a sweet, happy union that lasts 100 years. A few days later, my girlfriend suddenly sent me a message saying we should go our separate ways from now on. She'd been with me for 2 good years, so it's not like I lost out. So all this time we were together, there wasn't even a shred of real feeling. I suppose I should be grateful I had some measly money to earn her favor." I checked her alternate account, updated with a photo of class pants. This time I choose love. I turned off my phone, packed up all her belongings at my place, and had them delivered straight to her best friend S. 19, in the following days, I made excuses about being on a business trip, and didn't pay much attention to the scumbag S inquiries about insurance. I spent money to hire some people to call and file complaints against the scumbag at his company. I originally planned to arrange dozens or even hundreds of complaint calls, but then I thought that would be too excessive and obvious. So I settled for 1 or 2 complaints a week, enough to make his life difficult. From time to time, I would stalk my girlfriend, my ex-girlfriend's secret Weibo account, which had now turned into a record of her passionate new relationship. Again, I could only describe it with those 2 words. Dirty slutty. After about a month, I figured the time was right and pulled the same trick again. Using an unfamiliar number, I texted my ex-girlfriend saying your man went to such and such foot massage parlor on such and such date and spent $799. Of course, the result was a huge fight between the two of them. When the scumbag came to vent to me, he complained about his bad luck, saying he was always unlucky at work. He got scolded by the boss every day, and after just a few sweet days with his new girlfriend, she started picking fights for no reason. Women are all the same. So annoying, he said. I replied, "Bro, come on, look at what you're saying. You have such a beautiful girlfriend who loves you. Everyone is jealous of you." He said the novelty had worn off, and he was starting to regret it. Women are all pretty much the same after you've been with them for a while. Besides, the class beauty was too much of a spoiled princess. She never stepped into the kitchen, let alone lifted a finger for housework. His ex-fiancée at least was diligent. Even when they didn't live together, she'd often come over to tidy up and cook for him. This one didn't even know which way. The fridge door opened. His career was going poorly, and he had no patience to humor the class beauty. Now, they were fighting every 3 days with major blowouts every 5. I cursed him silently for deserving it, but out loud, I fed him some meaningless platitudes to comfort him. ISNT, this how relationships go, bro. You just need to work through the rough patches. 20 behind the scenes, I kept having people file complaints against him at the same steady pace. One day, he suddenly contacted me in a depressed mood saying he wanted to treat me to a meal. I said sure, it's been a while since we last met. We went back to that same barbecue place from last time. After 2 bottles of beer, the scumbag started pouring out his troubles. He said he got fired. I pretended to be shocked and asked what happened. Looking utterly miserable, he started ranting about how some people nowadays think throwing money around makes them gods. He said he put on his best smile, but got nothing in return, never knowing what kind of service they actually wanted. The slightest dissatisfaction would lead to complaints, and that's what cost him his job. I patted his shoulder and said, it's all right, it's just work, you can always find another job. He even apologized to me, saying, I haven't even provided you with any service yet. I pretended to be angry, saying that means you don't treat me as a brother. He gave me a bitter smile. Bro, you don't understand. At work, I have to serve a bunch of picky customers, and when I get home there's another one who spends all my money. He couldn't understand why women had so many expenses. $2,000 for a nail salon membership, $3,000 to top up at the hair salon, all clothes had to be dry cleaned, and a single shopping trip couldn't be done without at least $5,000. Then there were things like cosmetic treatments and hydrating injections, $15,000 for 10 sessions. She had so many clothes and shoes there was no space left at home. After just 1 month together, he already spent nearly $10,000 on her, and she was pressuring him to buy a car and a house, asking why he didn't just hurry up and buy them the sooner you enjoy. The scumbag said, bro, listen to the nonsense she's spouting, as if I don't have a house or car, because I don't want them. I shook my head, buddy, I believe in you, you'll have them sooner or later. Almost forgot this guy was planning to live off women before now, that there's no sugar mommy to rely on. Of course, he has to work hard himself. He also said the class beauty only earns $4,000 a month, wondering how she dares to spend so lavishly. Of course you fucking wouldn't know that, because I heard dumbass ex-boyfriend spoiled her rotten. That night, I drank quite a bit with him, hearing him say he regretted everything, made me happy. Hearing their relationship was going poorly gave me pure satisfaction. 21, however, after talking to that scumbag, I suddenly remembered I still had the intimate payment feature enabled for my ex-girlfriend. I went to check, and damn, if she'd actually been using it for purchases over the past month, I immediately turned it off. Unexpectedly, she called me the next day, demanding an explanation in an accusatory tone, asking why suddenly disabled the intimate payment. I was caught off guard. After a few seconds of silence, I replied, maybe because I don't want to pay for someone else's wife. Then she suddenly burst into tears, demanding to know why I could be so heartless. She admitted she'd gotten a bit too close to that guy, but swore she'd never done anything to betray me had I forgotten all our happy times together. Little did she know, I was already aware she'd been dating that scumbag for a while, even living together. I told her I'd seen them walking hand in hand into the hotel. She insisted with absolute conviction that they'd taken separate rooms. I said, surely, you don't expect me to produce video footage of you two entering the room. Let us preserve some last shred of dignity for each other. She fell silent. After a while, she spoke again. What if I told you we booked a twin bed? Would you believe me? I told her to fuck off. Her best friend genuinely cared for her, occasionally dropping hints to ask if I still had feelings for her, whether we could go back to how things were. I said, what do you think? I'm a normal man, not some pathetic pushover from novels or TV dramas. That scumbag sobered up when he got home that night. The next day, he said with great embarrassment, bro, you're such a busy man. Did I waste your time by making you come out just to listen to all this? I told him, bro, don't even think like that. If you're feeling down and need a vent, just hit me up anytime. Keep being my source of entertainment anytime. By the second month, he told me he couldn't take it anymore and broke up with the class beauty. They just weren't right for each other. No kidding, I saw it coming ages ago. Why else would I have gone out of my way to set you two up? A spoiled princess with expensive tastes and an unemployed freeloader. Even a blind man would spit at the sight of you. At 22, I checked my ex's alt account. All those messy sentimental posts were gone, leaving just one status update. Mistaking streetlights for the moon. I have only one word for this trash. The moonlit beauty becomes just another grain of rice. Once obtained, the cinnabar mole turns into a mere mosquito's blood when possessed. A nostalgic dream she couldn't forget. Now it's finally over. Later, my ex-girlfriend called me again pitifully, saying she couldn't find a suitable place to rent and asking if she could stay at my place for a few days, even offering to sleep on the sofa. I said you could rent a one-bedroom apartment for less than 2,000 yuan. Just switch agents if you can't find one. She said she had her eye on a fully furnished 2-bedroom, but it would cost nearly 3,000, and there was no way she could afford that. I laughed. What does it have to do with me? If you can't afford rent, when we were together, I spent money on you willingly, but now that we've broken up, it's none of my damn business. I spoke very bluntly, thinking she would feel some shame and stay away from me afterward, but I underestimated just how shameless she could be. I hadn't had time to change the door code, and she just moved in without even a heads up, bringing along all the things her parents had prepared for me, a jumble of local specialties, a free-range chicken bought from the mountains, and even a supposedly lucky charm her parents had climbed up at dawn to pray for. Perhaps the temptation in an apartment and a car was truly too great. She said she couldn't believe I could be so heartless otherwise. Why wouldn't I have changed the password? Damn it, I really want to slap the evidence of her living with that scumbag for the past 2 months right in her face. But before I could make a move, her idiot best friend came through for me again. No wonder TV dramas are full of such coincidences, and melodrama art truly imitates life. Her best friend, knowing she had moved back in with me, showed up carrying a suitcase full of clothes. When she came in thinking I was home, she said very loudly that XXX looks all dressed up and presentable, but how come he earns so little? The rented place is so small, your winter clothes don't even fit. I've had your clothes at my place for 2 months and can finally return them to you. TSK. That's a lot of information. At that moment, I happened to come out of the bathroom. Her best friend was dumbfounded and stammered, saying she was just talking nonsense and that I shouldn't overthink it. I didn't need to overthink, and I didn't need to say much. I just threw out all the luggage my ex-girlfriend hadn't even had the chance to open yet. I kicked both sisters out together, then locked the door from the inside. My ex-girlfriend screamed like a banshee outside for half an hour, but I ignored her, and the insecurity had to escort both of them away. 23, I added the errand runner on WeChat and told him, I need to find someone who's in this store right now. Can you secretly take a photo or record a video for me? Mimi, her parents had given her a mission. She must find another rich man, the kind who could gift her houses and cars. I laughed. ID deliberately said those things earlier to make her regret it. And now, ID successfully hooked this greedy family as appetite. The scumbag later contacted me on WeChat again, saying he found a new job and was planning to buy a house now. He spotted a really good property development, then beat around the bush with a bunch of words. Turns out he actually wanted to borrow money from me. He said, bro, don't worry, I promise I'll pay you back. You can trust my character. Fuck you, what fucking character do you have that I can trust? I made excuses, saying all my money was tied up in investments and the stock market, and encouraged him to take out an online loan. I told him to go ahead and borrow boldly since the house wouldn't wait, and once my money was available, I lent it to him to pay off the online loan. First, no interest needed. The scumbag said gleefully, bro, you're the best. On the day he bought the apartment, he said he'd treat me to dinner to thank me since he couldn't have bought the place so quickly without me. For what he said, he took out a loan of about $500,000. I called him a dumbass and immediately blocked him. I felt absolutely no guilt. This was just deserts. The end.